All right. First and foremost, I give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Makakodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, who rule well and who is worthy to be counted for double honors. Peace and salutations to you brothers out there pushing this truth wholeheartedly and sincerely and for love of the gospel. It's the brother Gabaria from Indiana Camp, coming back at you again with another sit down. All right, and this is breaking news. This just happened, 30 minutes ago. In this particular channel, they posted it 30 minutes ago, but they have other news outlets. It happened about 12 hours ago, 2 hours ago, 3 hours ago. But to make a long story short, basically Trump is backing off of Greenland for right now. You know, it says Trump backs off Greenland military threats and EU tariffs. All right, so we're going to watch this is real fast. It's only 58 seconds. We're going to go ahead and get to it.
The breaking news today in Davos, Switzerland, where the president is speaking to the World
And by the way, this is fair use.
Economic Summit. Donald Trump saying that the United States would not use military force now to acquire Greenland. The president said that the only way to get that country would to be use excessive military force. And he said our country would be unstoppable if he were to decide to do that. But he announced in that speech to the World Economic Summit that he was not going to use military force. It comes at the same time as European lawmakers suspended a trade agreement with the United States because of President Donald Trump's threats about increased tariffs. You may remember just yesterday of this week, the president threatened the new tariffs, and then the stock market in America dropped by about 900 points. Today, on Wednesday, it has since rebounded.
All right, so you see that Donald Trump has backed off Greenland. You know, he's trying to, he said he's just going to increase the tariffs. We'll see. And when you see things like this, when you see, you be thinking that this is upsetting prophecy. You be like, oh wow, we were so close. This isn't, this isn't how can I say, a bad thing or anything. This man's days are still are numbered. All right, just because he seems like he's backing off on war and things might even start dying down. We don't know. But even if things do start dying down, the end of this place is still gonna come to fruition. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and grab this one right quick. I got this is Job chapter 14 and verse 5. I'm reading the Amplified version. It says, since his days are determined, the number of his months is with you. It's Yahweh. It says in your control, and you have made his limits so he cannot pass his allot time. So basically, the Lord has this man's number. He knows exactly when this man will be destroyed. He knows exactly when this man is going to go down. All right. The number is with the Lord, you see. So when we see things like this happen, where now it seems like we're not going to go into the military. Now we're not going to go into Greenland. Oh, that means we're never going to get into war against NATO. No, this is just a prelude. This is just to test the water. We don't even know if they did this just to see how the people react. You see, everything that we see now, man, are just a prelude. America will eventually go into War 3. All right, because why? It's prophesied in the scriptures. Whether it's through this, whether it's through Greenland, or whether they just have an all-out attack on NATO and the EU outright. We don't know exactly how it's going to be, done, but the point is what it's going to be done. The scripture says, though it tarry, wait for it will not tarry. So what is going to happen? You see, whether it's through this or whether it's through something else. All right. So this doesn't upset us. This doesn't, gets us, how can I say, mad or whatever. You see, it's just, I guess it's just not that time yet. All right. But we understand that we're getting extremely close. Okay, this is 2nd Ezra chapter 4 and verse 37. It says, by measure he hath measured the times, and by number he hath numbered the times. It said he doth not move nor stir them until the said measure be fulfilled. You see? So what, man? Guess so this man, hey, when America has did everything that the Lord needed it to do, that's when the Lord is going to eventually send Yahushua to rescue us up out of this place. That's when he's going to send the missiles over here. All right. So just because Donald Trump seems like he's trying to pull back, or it was probably the elites probably told him, hey, chill out, hey, we're not finna do that right now. You see, because we still have prophecies that has to happen. The MOTB has to be pushed off before World War III happens. All right. So we still have major prophecies that we're looking forward to. Okay. We still have major prophecies that we're looking forward to that has to be pushed forward before World War III happens. All right. We have Jacob's trouble also is prophesied in the scriptures. You see? So, this doesn't upset us. This doesn't, us seeing that, now Donald Trump is pulling back, things might start getting easier. This doesn't, matter of fact, let's see what some of these comments are saying. Greenland military might sounds like the U.S. is getting Greenland. Seems like you don't read the article taking about the deal arrangement. Forgot some bullshit. Democrat news. This is why I retired from the army when Obama left. Greenland will be a part of U.S. and everyone will be happy. Breaking news. Art of a deal. Trump got what he wanted from America. U.S. is not everywhere but the liberals as they America American land will soon be Trump's. It says of course he did. That's where the name Taco comes in. He's bullshit, no action. Taco Man strikes again. You see, so what? A lot of these people are. So I guess it says he'll just move on to the next distractions to keep the Epstein files on. Yeah, see, that's a lot of, the Epstein file stuff was just to distract the people. That was just, something just to get the people all distracted. Whether, we know how these wicked, how these fucking famous people get down, man. The Diddy parties, the Epstein files, man. It wasn't just Epstein, man. They've been doing that for years, man. Diddling little children, all types of, it was like that when the so-called Bohemian Grove came out. Everybody was talking about the Bohemian Grove, the Owl of Molech, and it's all this is just replayed back over again. They've been doing stuff like this. All right, Epstein, and that's not the only island that they have. That's just the only one. That's probably just the one they want y'all to find out about. These politicians, these famous up high famous people, man. They always been that freaky deaky type, your famous, your favorite famous person. They all into that, man. They all into that witchcraft, because why? They part of the left hand side. All right, they part of the devil. You see.
Smart founders know something most people miss. Get your domain name even if you're not ready to launch your business. With Wix,
the big news out of Davos today, that major gathering of world leaders, President Trump landing on Air Force One, then stunning the crowd with a 90-minute address. It was supposed to be about U.S. housing policy, but it turned into a long rebuttal to other world leaders. He told Canada the country, quote, lives because of us. Told the crowd, quote, you'd all be speaking German if not for America. And he mocked Emmanuel Macron of France for wearing sunglasses indoors. And yet late today, the president announced what he said was a breakthrough on U.S. control of Greenland. So let's get right to senior White House correspondent Ed O'Keefe, who is traveling with the president. Ed, what a day. Good evening to you.
That's one way to put it, Tony. The president's decision to talk more with NATO about the future of Greenland came as he backed off threats of using military force or new tariffs to get what he wants. But his fresh attacks on Europe angered close allies.
You see, like I said, man, that this could be, just adding more fuel to the fire. See, NATO is getting mad. See, every little thing that Trump does, the little thing that America does, it could be at a point where, listen, they like, it can get to a point where like listen, they don't want to hear no more, of what America got going on. They're just gonna they're just gonna basically turn on them, as the scripture says, as it says in the book of Obadiah. All right, so what the like that Confederacy. Let me see. Let me grab that right quick. Yep, this is Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 7. I'm gonna start from I'm gonna read it in the Amplified version. It says, all the men allied with you shall send you on your way to the border. The men who were at peace with you shall deceive you and overpower you. It says, those who eat your bread, those you trust, shall set a hostile ambush for you. There is no understanding of it. You see? So what, man? What the so-called NATO and the EU, which is supposed to be American allies, they're the ones who's going to eventually turn on you. All right, they're going to be the ones who's turn on you, and they're the ones that's going to destroy you. All right, what does it says in Book of Revelations? What the ten horns shall hate the whore. All right, and what eat her flesh and burn her with fire. All right, and these are all scriptures. These are all prophecies that we've been telling you people. All right. So when we see this, man, this is just basically adding fuel, man. This is just basically adding all fuel, Now we don't know if, hopefully that, hopefully America gonna do something else to break the camel's back, or not. Hey, it might, might be next year, or it might be something later on in this year. We don't know. But stuff like this, them backing out, them, trying to be peaceful, whatever, this doesn't discourage us. We still understand that ultimately what this place is going to be destroyed. There's nothing that they can do. Even if America was to do a whole 180 right now, stop the whole terrorists, try to be cool with everybody, the Lord's going to find some way, some shape and form to still have these people, still have NATO turn on America, still have EU hate America. Because why? The scriptures say what they say. All right. And that's what we go off of. All right.
President helicoptered into this swanky Swiss ski town. Cameras caught a message for him stamped in the snow. Trump, go home. He acknowledged the tough crowd attending his speech.
So many friends, few enemies.
And made clear he wanted to acquire Greenland, but without using the military.
I don't have to use force. I don't want to use force. I won't use force.
That was a relief for Danish officials who control the island and who had beefed up the security presence on Greenland in recent days. Trump's Arctic focus is widely opposed by Americans, including some here in Davos, like potential future presidential candidate, Kentucky Democratic Governor Andy Beshear.
This is pretty damn stupid. Now you look at what it means going after territory from another member of NATO. That is crossing a red line. And the American people, we don't think about Greenland for 5 minutes each day.
North Carolina Republican Senator Tom Tillis agrees.
This is drama or a false crisis.
He thinks Trump should use existing agreements with Greenland and NATO to bolster America's military presence on the island.
There's a way to achieve what the president rightfully points out we need to achieve in the Arctic without any of this drama, without any of this discord, and without any of the threat to the long-term stability and reliability of the NATO alliance.
And while Trump now says he has an agreement to sort out a Greenland plan with NATO and European leaders, his speech notably attacked them.
We want strong allies, not seriously weakened ones.
Especially NATO.
I mean, we've helped them for so many years. We've never gotten anything, except we pay for NATO.
But NATO did rally around the U.S. after 9/11, and soldiers from 25 NATO countries fought and died alongside American forces in Afghanistan during the 2-decade conflict. After weeks of threats and confusion,
which the Lord is going to send them back over there in the Middle East. That's where the Valley of Jehoshaphat is at. All right. And that's where what Armageddon, which means mountain of troops, is going to be taking place. All right. So what? And that's in prophecy. That's in the scriptures. All right. You see, once you read the scriptures, once you understand the Bible, all these things, you can see the prophecies speaking loud and clearly. All right. You see why war is being mentioned, turmoil is happening. All right. Scriptures even talks about the earthquakes and the earth, fighting against this man. All right. Matter of fact, wasn't something just got hit. I just seen something. It just got. I think it was like a devastating storm, a 200-mile, or it's a 2,000-mile. It was like a devastating storm. Let me see. Can I find it? I was pretty much done on that video anyways. Let me see. Can I find this storm that just happened? Yeah, now I can't find it. Yeah, there was this type of storm. Let me see. I think it was in Iran, maybe. Iran processes, Iran fuel. $200-mile storm. Yeah, here it is right here. Okay. So it says, yeah, a 2,000-mile long potential historical weekend storm to impact 200 million Americans. That's over half. More than 70 million on the alert of the 200. Yeah, the 2,000. I thought it was 200. Shit, 2,000. See, man, all this right here, man, is what? Signs that we're in the end times.
Excuse me, sir. How old were you when you made your first million?
What is this for?
We're trying to get advice for the younger generation.
Take you to some of the areas that have been on the watchful eye for this storm over the last couple of days or so. Central Plains have been one of those places that we need to watch. So here's what we know at this hour. This monster storm, well, it stretches more than 2,000 miles and it's set to threaten more than 35 states. Ice and snow, they may cripple travel. We have widespread snow from the plains all the way out to the mid-Atlantic and eventually even into the Northeast. Now, we also have to watch for the power outages. That's going to be a growing concern in real time as the storm gets underway. We're watching closely because this is such a massive storm that can impact so many different people in so many different ways. We've almost categorized it in chapters because really things start off into the latter half of our Thursday going into Friday across the South. The Central Plains are going to feel that burn too with this low pressure system that's going to ride out of the southwest, push into the atmospheric conditions that may lead to some freezing ice for areas like Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, back towards, say, Tennessee. We have winter storm watches. They're up across the board right now, primarily well into the end of the weekend. This really doesn't get started in
Yeah, see, so stuff like this, and then people always, carnal people always say, "Oh, well, we've always had storms, and we've always had earthquakes, and we've always had tornadoes." Yeah, but at this magnitude, at this velocity, where it's happening so much, where the news doesn't even report it unless it's something severe like this. You see, this isn't normal, man. I live in Indiana, which is kind of a up north type state, and shit, we rarely get snow in the winter. Now, how is that? We rarely get snow in the winter, and it's up north. Now if we were more south, then that's understandable. It's closer to the equator, but we're relatively north, and we rarely get snow. All right, all these things that we read about in the scriptures, all these things that we've been prophesying to you people about, these are just signs and showings that we are the end times and things are getting close. All right, we don't fret, if something doesn't happen to our the amount of time that we wanted to do, which We wanted this to happen yesterday, but we understand that like the scriptures I read, hey, the Lord has a set time, just like it says in the book of 2 Ezra. It says through the process of time, the Lord brought through the flood. Well, he's doing the same thing with the second death. He's doing the same thing with the end of this place. It's just a process of time. Eventually things are going to get at its worst, and then that's when everything is going to break loose. All right. But that's all I had, man. Lord help this video is edifying for you brothers out there. Right now I'm just rambling. So until next time, shalom.